Hey guys, it's Minister Lois, and today I wanted to share with you guys. I was just sitting there thinking on the couch, and I've been thinking for a long time, just throughout mistakes in my life and all the things I've done in the areas of marriage. I wanted to share my celibate stories because I, have expressed and opened up my life to you guys about how imperfect I am, and all my struggles, especially about being married and what happened. The first time I got married, it was really genuine. I was 18, and I really wanted to be with my, high school sweetheart for the rest of my life. But he was very abusive. It didn't work out that way, and we had 2 kids. Second time, God came to me and he warned me. He said, "Do not get with this person." He said, "This person is not who you think he is." And I married him for looks, and I really wanted to be with someone. The first time before I got married, I was 16 and 17, I was celibate for a whole year. And I've noticed every time before I get married, I'm celibate. I was celibate the second time. And I was also celibate the third time. So God warned me about the second husband and the third husband. I was really, really drawn to him. I was drawn, and I could feel, he was a great person if he would give his life to God and calling all the way 100%. But honestly, if I could be honest, because I want to help women out there. There are women who are going through things, not people who are virgins, not people who haven't been married, but you have people who have been married 1, 2, 3 times, and you're just kind of like, okay, where do I go from here? Put your trust in God, seek ye first the kingdom and all things shall be added. I have made a decision. I'm in ministry now, and, God is my husband, and I don't go around moping and wondering. I literally go around thanking God, for not being in hell and some other things that are hard. I thank God, I want to make sure that I'm responsible. I want to praise dance. I want to make sure I give God my all. And I think for the first time in my life, I'm not smoking cigarettes. I'm not getting drunk. I'm not having sex and fornicating. I'm not doing any of those things. I'm still sinning. I may curse in my head or stumble my foot on something or have issues with certain things God made I like certain ways I look, talk, dress, think inwardly. I can work on those things. Third, husband, I was really, really tired of being celibate. I went through this celibacy thing so much. I had a lot of downtimes in celibacy that even though I was celibate, I was unhappy. And I knew that I was doing it because of God. And you're supposed to do everything unto God happy and joyously. Well, I just want to share my testimony, for some people who may be feeling the same as I did. There were times I was not happy. But I want to leave with you guys today that I was. I want to share some stories that I really found amusing and funny, the times that I was celibate. After divorcing my husband, my second husband, for the first time, because we got remarried and I divorced him again after that, I stayed celibate for almost 3 years. And it was so rejuvenating. I lost 106 plus pounds, but also I found out I had cancer. So it was very, very rejuvenating time in my life. I got myself together. I lost all that weight from being 315. I went all the way down to, oh my gosh, 200 and, dear Lord, 209, something like that. I was excited, about it. And there's a few people I dated in my life. I want to give some testimonies. I dated 3 to 5 people in my life celibate. One relationship lasted 3 days, and we reunited. And later on in life, like maybe that next year, and he said, "Hey, I want to date you, and this time I wanted to be celibate." But I want the nuggets I want to leave with you, women and also men who can learn from this. I feel like I can teach you guys more about celibacy than marriage. I suck at marriage because I didn't listen to God, not because I'm not a woman to be liked or loved. I always messed up, and I noticed the pattern of being celibate and then a husband coming along. I believe that you draw people. Like when you pray and they say, write down, is it Habakkuk, 2nd chapter 2, verse 2 through 3, something like that. Write down the vision and make it plain. So I never prayed for a husband back in the day, but when you're positioning yourself and you're celibate and you have this desire in your heart just to be married, it seems like somebody will just come along. Seems like when you pray for the right exact person that you want, I've heard testimonies, and it kind of breaks my heart, makes me sad, but I still have hope if that's what God wants. But ministry is my marriage, right now, and my focus is on God. But a lot of people made the vision plain. Think about Sierra. She wrote down, said what she wanted. She prayed for it. God gave it. And that is something that I've done last year. God asked me what did I want. I told him what I wanted. I have that polka dotted journal, and God told me to go get it out of my car. And so, and because I'm sitting on the couch going, I really messed up my life. How many people feel like, hey, I messed up my life. I messed up my opportunities to get married. No one wants me. I got too many children, whatever. I'm fat now. I got all these stretch marks. I'm white, I'm black, I got pimples, whatever the case may be. I may not be thick enough, I'm skinny, whatever. I kind of feel like all kind of ways in myself for my personal reasons. But for no further ado, I remember in my 20s, after divorcing my ex-husband for the second time, I was really trying to get myself together. I just had my daughter. I was working out hardcore. I got into shape really fast because I had a C-section, and I was living in a shelter. I ran away from him. He was very, very, very verbal and mental abusive. And I took me and my children, and we ran to a shelter. Staying in that shelter, I was not looking to run into someone about, 2 months into the shelter of staying there. And I ended up running into this guy. And I told myself and made up my mind. I was so hurt, beat, battered, and bruised from my marriage. I made a decision I was not going to be having sex or dating to a point of sex. I was like, if somebody wants to date me, it's going to be the way God wants it, and that's that. And you know what? How many people you got to go through a season in life that pushes the right thing out of you? And it seems like that's what God does. And then we look at God and go, golly, how come there's so much bad things going on? We do it. So I met this guy, and I was letting him know I just came out of a real messed up marriage, and I needed time to heal. And I was like, if you're going to date me, it's going to be celibate. So we dated for a long time, almost a year. And until I found out he cheated on me. And I was really upset. And he got real kind of like psycho. And he, started to ask me, when are you going to give it up? And so I broke it off with him because I started dreaming that he raped me. Time went on. And I ended up dating somebody else, celibate. And, he was trying to break the celibacy the first day I met him. He was trying to offer me a job. He met Barack Obama. He was really rich. He owned his, bank companies all over around the world, the city banks. He teaches and flies all around the world to show people how to run city banks. And, he has a picture on his page to this day of meeting Barack Obama. I have a very interesting life. I'm actually under Cornelia Lewis on YouTube. I used to be a reporter, and I interview people in my city and town and all of those things. If you want to look up my name, Cornelia Lewis, it's on YouTube. But I was really overweight at the beginning, and I started losing weight. So I broke it off with the guy because he wanted to have sex within the first 1 or 3 days. Broke it off with him the third day. We broke up. Met him later on in life, I think the next year after that. And he was like, I want to date you, and I want to date you celibate. And he was really sincere. And what I want to tell you guys is, sometimes you got to just notice your self-worth. Sometimes you got to ride and stick your ground, because you never know who is willing to step up to the plate. And I had my boyfriends, they were holding a grudge in hopes one day that I would. They said yes to dating me celibate because they was in hopes that I would give it up one day, but I never did. And I stuck and I stayed to my grounds to that. But I was so relieved, not to be in a relationship for sex. I was so relieved, even all the way up to right before I married my third husband. I was celibate, and I had this guy, he wanted to date me celibate. And anybody who I went on a date with, I dated celibate. So I dated a guy, Fitness Connection, and I did all of that. And when I dated him like that, I ended up really noticing things about myself. I wanted to stay on that path, and I didn't stay on the path. you know, but the guy in the gym, excuse me, someone was knocking. I was trying to hear what was going on. But anyway, someone at the gym at Fitness Connection, I was telling you about two different guys of two things that were going on, and one thing was that there was a guy I dated, you know, and we were getting to know each other. He was in a girl that she did not like it, and then after all that broke off, and I broke off with that, you know, things that just weren't going right. And I met the white guy Robert, and you know, making out and things that God didn't want, and I was trying to go down that path. Like, dang, nobody likes me, celibate. Why don't I just go back to trying to have sex? And I never did. But God was watching me. You know,